Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
And my name is Ashton.
And my name is Peter. Hi, Peter. How are you?
It sounds just like him.
I'm quite poorly. He's very nasally today because he's poorly. Peter Austin has plops, regrettably, so he cannot join us today. Mm-hmm. But welcome to the video game podcast. Are you well, Ashton?
Yes.
You have been on a fine run of health this week as well.
Yes, I have been unwell for like a week, but like not snotty unwell, just like not right in myself. So I'm feeling wacky today in a bad way. How are you?
I'm fine. Just tired. It's cold again today.
Yeah, it's cold again.
What's different? I'm wearing a t-shirt. I usually wear a t-shirt just for clarity, but there's additional layers on top of it. Today I decided to put on pants. It's a big day for me.
It's a huge day.
It's a really exciting day.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's a nice chill day with not loads of shooting and streaming to do. So it's a great day for you to be back in the office.
Just 2 podcasts and a stream at 7 p.m.
And a phenomenal day for Peter to be unwell.
Yeah.
There's never a good time, but it's fine.
Like when you're not feeling 100%, you're like, it's fine because there's 2 other people here to keep the energy up. Like if I can't get there, that's fine.
So I've got to work. I've got to be extra obnoxious.
3 times as obnoxious.
I've got to be really annoying today.
Yeah.
Just to keep the energy levels at a reasonable pace. No, we wish Peter all the best. Hopefully he may well be well enough.
I've not seen that boy in a week.
For tonight's sleepover stream. And he's your best friend as well. So that must be really difficult.
Miss him.
But hopefully Peter will be feeling brighter for tonight's sleepover stream. If not, all the best, Peter. Hope you feel better soon. But the show must go on.
It must.
And each and every week we are sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. They help us keep that bulb on right there. Ashton, you have the ad read in front of you.
I do. There's a new cooking sim coming out. Where you have to put traps down to catch the food that's coming through the dungeon, I guess. And it's really exciting. It's a bit of a spin away from the usual format. Okay. It's called Porks Must Fry. Flesh wrap.
I dislike that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like flesh
I don't like it either, but they were like, well, it has to be a little bit, you know.
Pork must fry. I'm on board. I like this up. Flesh wrap
but
is
if you had
much.
a pork wrap, it would technically be a flesh wrap.
Yeah, but how many wraps do you have that's like... Well, I suppose when you say flesh wrap, if we really dive into this, which we're going to do, when you say flesh wrap, I'm thinking in place of a tortilla.
No.
It's flesh.
But if I said I'm having a tuna wrap,
right,
that
it wouldn't
means
be made
I'm
out
having
of tuna.
in a wrap.
I suppose, yeah. It's just flesh is...
Gross.
That's how you do it, vegans. That's how you win hearts, minds, and souls. It's by calling everything flesh.
Yeah.
It's actually that's
oh my
quite
God, you're having
disgusting.
a minced flesh burger. Gross.
How's your flesh roll?
Yeah.
Oh.
Slices of fresh flesh for you, sir.
Don't do that. Well, I'm gutted then because I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Well, don't worry because it's not real.
For you,
animals
do not suffer when we consume
it's not
them
flefe what we are eating.
It's fine. It's a different mystery product, and we're okay with
Sometimes
that.
It probably is.
Yeah, I've certainly had horse in Tesco meals before.
Almost certainly.
A lot of people did.
We all have.
Yeah. Anyway.
Everyone in England at one point had a horse lasagna.
Just a little bit of horse. It's nearly in April after all.
Yeah, so true.
'Tis the season. No, we are not sponsored by Porks Must Fry Flesh Wrap. We are, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go there and support us, you get access to all sorts of things, asking questions on this podcast, early access to weirdest and worst games ever, exclusive access to episodes of Rules Boss and Main Menu, new episode of Main Menu coming on Monday. Please be excited. Have you seen it?
No,
I haven't seen it either. Peter's been hogging it all to himself.
What
I'll have to ask
biatch.
Alex for a copy. Alex is off today. We'll have to log on to Alex's computer.
It's on the Nexus.
It's on the Nexus.
We can watch it on there.
What is the Nexus? It's our
PC
supercomputer.
Thing. I don't understand how Alex set it up, but sometimes it works.
It's our TripleJump supercomputer.
Yeah.
We say, Nexus, play main menu. And it goes, yes, here is main menu, but in a Billy voice instead. I can't do a good Billy impression.
No one can.
Anyway, triplej.mup is where you can find everything that we do. Thank you to our patrons, by the way. And triplejumpshop.com if you'd like to buy some wonderful merchandise. This is merch, but it's no longer...
I'm not wearing merch.
It was a limited time thing.
Today.
I've got some merch down here.
You know what I really want us to make?
What?
Jogging bottoms.
Oh, to match this?
Just
Probably not. You want comfy ones, don't you?
You don't want sporty
the
ones.
static shock
I want
accumulating
comfy
top.
ones.
Well, we could certainly.
I'm going to bring this up.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should.
In the next
I'd love to have
company
a full matching set. You can have the pajamas.
Oh my God, I would love that.
We should do TripleJump pajamas. We've got the hoodie.
Yeah.
We just need joggers and, well, you can put a t-shirt on. It's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't need...
On the days when I decide to wear a
sleepy
t-shirt.
time shirt.
Yeah.
It makes you game harder when tired.
Yeah.
Or something.
Exactly.
Science. It's proven. TripleJumpShop.com. And so this week, coming out, there's a Worst Games Ever episode. Isn't there, Ashton?
Yes. I've been watching Ciaran edit it. It was a Kinect game, Crossboard 7. Was it good?
No. No,
Good.
it wasn't.
Good.
Got really sweaty playing it, though.
You did?
Yeah, because it was 2 players.
Oh, you played it as well,
So
did
at some
you?
point I jumped in with
Fun.
Peter, but I didn't take my jacket off, and it was a big,
Mistake.
thick, warm winter jacket, and it was, it got a bit sweaty in there. But that's out now for patrons, out tomorrow for everybody else. Next week we celebrate our 6th birthday slash anniversary. We always have this conversation. So there will be a special Worst Games Ever stream on YouTube next week at, I think, the usual time, 2:30. So tune in and watch us play an absolute stinker of a game. We've already got it. We're ready to go. And you can come along and celebrate with us. And as I said, main menu coming out for patrons on Monday. So there we are. And also After Dark, I would imagine.
And also After
too.
Dark
And
as well, yeah.
After Dark, our bonus podcast. Time now for question 1, which I'm a little bit gutted because part of the reason I chose this is because it's a great question. But the other part is because I wanted Peter to enthusiastically read it. All words and all. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah.
But imagine that it's Peter's voice doing it, because I think it would have been funny.
Yeah.
This is from Bartek Kubica, who says, hello, or sul sul, how they say in Simlish language. The Sims and The Sims 2 are reportedly being re-released this week, with all expansion packs included. Whipna Chobadog. That's another Sims, yeah. The original Sims has never been officially re-released digitally. Shock emoji. Do you think EA has no more ideas and we're starting Sims post-modernism era? Or is this the foundation of something new? Bye-bye or dag-dag, Bartek.
Thank you, Bartek.
Can you imagine him doing that? I think it would have been funny.
I think it would have been funny. You're
I'd
right.
like him to say...
We all missed out today.
Whipna Chobadog.
Whipna Chobadog.
Whipna Chobadog. But, maybe next time.
Maybe
We'll have to
next
ask.
time.
So, Ashton.
Yeah.
It's not so much heavily rumoured as it was teased and people have data mined, and by all accounts it will release on the 31st at around 11 a.m.
I think they've confirmed that now.
Have they actually come out and confirmed it?
Yeah, they put a roadmap for the next month for the 25th anniversary, which is why they're doing it. And this has been confirmed. Yes, as of yesterday, at time of release, you can get Sims 1 and a bunch of expansion packs. I don't know if it's all of them. I think Sims 2 and I think most of them, and I don't think it's all of the Sims 1. You might have to quote me on that, but it was listed rather than being like
say
all of them. I don't think this is anything to do with how EA are going business-wise. I think this is because they like money.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of fine with it. Like if we're going for an anniversary edition, I don't see why they shouldn't, make it easily accessible. Sims 1 especially, like you can't play anywhere else. Like it's really difficult to even get it as a ROM. I've been trying for ages to find a way to make it work, and it took me like a month and a half to get it to work. Sims 2 was a bit easier, but obviously it wasn't on any digital storefronts. And again, it's only on disc, so that is a bit annoying. So I just think that, to be honest, it makes complete sense to do this for the anniversary. I think that it doesn't say anything about EA's kind of future when it comes to what they're going to do with their games. I think it's just a matter of, well, it's the anniversary. People will pay money for these things. So let's charge them money for it, and then they'll get money.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
So it works. Charge money,
get money.
I'm shocked that these were never re-released, to be honest, because certainly The Sims 2 felt like I never had it, but everyone at school had it when I was at school.
It's huge.
That was like the game. And then I feel like The Sims 3 obviously was I'm just going to wave it away The Sims 3, I never heard much about that. It's probably sold 500 million copies
when I was in
look it
school,
up.
everyone had Sims 3.
Right. Well, there we are. But The Sims 4 has been the status quo for a long time now. Well, do you remember when that
14
released?
14 years, I think.
That's mental. And it's like, as you've said on the podcast before, it's creaky. Every time they add a new pack, it breaks stuff. They're thinking of introducing this new Simsverse that's potentially a horrible live service platform thing where you just expand on Maybe it's a subscription. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get The Sims 5?
No, they kind of said they're not making a Sims 5.
Right.
They've said that that's not going to happen. They're doing the Sims platform. That's what they're going to do next. I think that they can't do The Sims 5, and we talked about this a little bit when they kind of were teasing Project Renee, which is what The Sims 5 was maybe like. That was what we thought it was. But essentially, the Sims 4 cost so much money. Like, with all the expansion packs and everything that they've put for The Sims 4, you're looking at spending well over like a couple of hundred, if not $1,000, on all of the platforms, depending if there's a sale. There's a sale, might be a bit cheaper. But if it's not a sale, about £1,000.
Wait for a sale.
Wait for a sale. But yeah, so it's very much like, well, you can release The Sims 5, but then you have to release all the expansion packs again of all the things that were in The Sims 4, and people have to pay again for something else in The Sims 5. I think Simmers would like...
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Would like there to be an upgraded version of The Sims. I think, like I said, however long ago, it breaks every time something gets added to it. It's not the most... what's the word I'm looking for? Streamlined isn't the right word, but... it doesn't work very well all the time because of how much has been added to it since the game released over 10 years ago now. So I do think that Sims 5 would have been a good idea. I can see why they're not doing it. And I do think we're entering live service nightmare when it comes to Sims. But I think we just have to wait to see what they do next, because I don't know how it's going to work. I don't think anyone really knows how it's going to work. So
it's going to be massive either way. If I were to predict wildly, it would be free to play on a base level. They want as many people in there as possible, and then they will knickle and kadime you, or the plumbipode. That's what I've decided the Sims people are called. The plumbipode.
The plumbipode.
Like plumbus.
Like plumbobs.
Plumbobs, that's it. Plumbus.
I don't know
that's
what
from
a
Rick and Morty. Plumbob.
Plumbob.
Right, so plumbob pode.
Plumbob pode.
The plumbipode.
Right.
That doesn't matter. Anyway, they'll all come in and they will spend...
the plumbobiots.
The plumbobiots. Well, no, because that sounds like they're idiots. They're not idiots.
I also thought it sounded like podiots.
They're just... yeah, well, they are idiots.
Yeah.
They're just really excited for new Sims stuff. They've been waiting for a long time, regardless of how predatory this new platform may or may not be. You would have to imagine that it's not gonna be The Sims 4. It's gonna look better. It's gonna hopefully have more features. They're gonna, they're gonna actually. It's going to be, for all intents and purposes, a new Sims game. However, with like 90% of the content taken out because you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you'll be getting new Sims. Which is why it's nice that they are now re-releasing these. Because if you take one look at the new Sims live service platform, or whatever it's going to be, and go, absolutely not. Yeah. I'm not spending £1 on a chair. That's ridiculous. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Or it might have some actual real-time thing where you send your Sims off to work and you have to wait literally all day for them to come back. That would also be horrible while your energy bar refills. Then at least you can throw yourself back into The Sims 1 and The Sims 2.
Yeah.
And it's nice for preservation as well. We're saying this, assuming it's going to work. Watch it release and be completely broken.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then modders will have to fix it.
Me personally, I'm waiting impatiently for My Sims Agents to be released. Yes. Apparently there's someone data mined that there is a second My Sims bundle.
Okay.
Because there's the Cozy bundle that had My Sims Kingdoms and My Sims. But My Sims Agents is the best one. Yeah. So My Sims Agents and My Sims, it's not it might be racing, but I feel like it's a plane. So I don't know. I think there's a racing one maybe.
That would bundle well with an Agents.
Yeah, but Agents was elite, and they should just release that. It's the best one. But we'll see what they do with those. I think. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed they don't completely bugger up the future of The Sims. They probably will. Especially as it seems some of the other Sims, like challenges, have fallen away, haven't they? Like there was that one that got cancelled a little while back that you were interested in.
Yes, but there's still a few there's Inzoi is coming out in March, but that I think is gonna have a difficulty competing with The Sims because of how beefy it is.
Right.
Like that has a lot. You need like a pretty good PC. My PC is only a few years old and it won't run Inzoi. And then there's I can't remember what the other one's called. I know what it looks like, but I can't remember what it's called. But there's another one that's been being made for like 5 years now at this point that people are really like looking forward to, but it's made by quite a small team. So
What was the one that was cancelled recently?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you remember? Because that was coming from a relatively big publisher, I seem to remember, and it looked like it was quite far along, and then they just decided. We talked about it on the podcast at the time, that there was just too much work left to get it to where they wanted it to. And
Life by You.
That sounds about right.
From the guy who made the original Sims.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Paralives, that's the other one I was trying to think of.
Right. And they just had to cut their losses, which is a real shame because I think even if they had released it in an early access state, clearly they'd had play tests and things and they were getting a lot of feedback. I think it still would have had a dedicated Paradox, right? I think they would have had a dedicated audience. I think they might have been able to build that.
Well, people were really excited for it, but it did promise a lot. Like it was very much like you will control everything. You can add dialogue lines into the game and you can control every element of it. And I think it was very much like
right.
They just couldn't. They cancelled it. June 17th, 2024.
But then you look at No Man's Sky, still going several years later, or nearly 10 years later, and they released like 1 trillion new planets this week. Just 1 trillion.
Just for fun.
Yeah,
just
released
they
1 trillion new planets. Mental. So unfortunately that didn't work out. But what do you think of The Sims? Are you excited for 1 and 2? Let us know. But in the meantime, what does that say? Talking of adding your own lines in.
Yeah, while I was unwell this week, I had like a fever dream and I imagined this segment up and I think it's going to be great.
Okay.
It's called What We Playin.
I don't like it. It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Peter Austin, what have you been playing?
Nothing.
Played a little bit more Star Wars Outlaws. Okay, thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Ashton, what have you been playing?
I've played a few things. I've been a bit head empty this week, very low energy. So I played some Power Wash Sim while I've started watching Bones and playing Power Wash Sim on MB's Steam Deck. Good stuff.
Yeah, what have you cleaned?
I cleaned a food truck.
Nice.
And I was midway through cleaning a satellite when I had to go to bed because it was late.
In space or was it on the ground?
No, on the ground.
Okay.
Ground
Is that like
satellite.
the NASA bundle?
No, well, I didn't. So I went on Game Pass where I played it and an ungodly amount of hours in that game. And there was a bunch of like free additional bonus levels and stuff that aren't like the Shrek one and stuff because you have to pay for those and I will not be doing that. So I was just doing the bonus levels, but there was a bunch that I haven't played before. Yeah. But there's like a 4 parts of a thing called I think it's called the Mirkwood trilogy. I don't know what it's called, story or something, where there's like a bunch of them. Apparently there's a story, but I never read the text messages that get sent to me during cleaning because they just get in my way. I just want to clean and watch Bones. So that's what I've been doing for a few days. I also played some Deceive Inc.
Okay.
Which is, do you know what game I'm talking about when I say Deceiving?
I recognize the name, but you will need to tell me more.
So it's essentially where you play as like an operative who is trying to get into a vault and get away with kind of the loot that's in the vault. Okay. And there's you and a bunch of other players who are all competing to try and get to the vault and you have to try and blend in. So you've got like, you can disguise yourselves as people who are around like civilians and you have to try and blend in so people don't know it's you because if someone spots you they might kill you or go after you and then you'll not be able to win. And so I played that in a private lobby with MB. Then we played it as a duo, the two of us online. We managed to win one even though it was our first time playing. We were pretty smug about it. The studio have since closed down, but the game's still up and I think we got it for like £1 on like a key mailer type situation.
Deceiving.
Yeah, but it's quite good fun actually. I've quite enjoyed my time with it.
Did this go on PlayStation Plus at some point?
Yeah,
maybe
I think
it didn't.
I think it was on the extra. Maybe it was on extra.
I recognize the art style. I think I might have seen a trailer for this back when it came out.
It's quite good fun actually, and I've got a thing where I can disguise myself as like an inanimate object. Excuse me.
Was that what you were dancing to while you were breaking into the vault?
Well, there was quite a lot of funky music as well. So we were just kind of, while waiting to get into a lobby, just like vibe into the bagpipes that are playing.
Nice.
But yeah, that was good fun. I enjoyed playing that. I might play some on stream at some point, see if people want to play with me. And then the thing I've played the most of this week, and I've got into it now. I wasn't sure if I'm really into it over the weekend, but I'm into it. Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Oh, okay.
I've been having a great time playing that game.
Cool.
I have.
Who are you playing as?
I'm a mage. I'm a veil jumper.
Right.
and her name's
human.
I'm an elf.
Elf. Okay.
I'm an elf. I think it's great. Love it. I love all the people in my team. You've got short, cute elf.
Yeah.
You got sassy MILF kind of character. You've got the bubbly woman. You've got a man with
desperately trying to piece together who these are.
You've
man
got
with pet,
big, massive woman.
God, you got quite far then.
Yeah. And you've got eccentric old man. And then you've got Puss in Boots.
Oh my God, he is Puss in Boots.
He's Enrique Iglesias, Puss in Boots.
Enrique Iglesias? You mean Antonio Banderas?
Antonio Banderas. I said it wrong.
Same guy.
Same guy. Two men, same guy. You've got Puss in Boots. He sounds just like Puss in Boots.
He does.
And whenever he's...
Look, you must come to the winter.
The winter. I'm
great.
like, yes, Puss in Boots. I'll be right there.
Who's in your party then? Who do you take with you?
I kind of has been swapping him out because at first I was trying to flirt with Nev, who's like the sassy MILF.
She talks like a robot though.
She does talk like a robot. And then she kept flirting with Puss in Boots. And I was like, all right, enough of this now. I'm moving on. Okay. So now it's mostly Tash, who's a big, massive woman. And then also Belara.
Yes.
Because I think she's nice. I've been flirting with everyone.
Have you? I don't think there are any consequences. You just have to commit to someone at one point.
Yeah, I haven't got to that point yet. I'm just, chilling, seeing who's reciprocating. I feel like no one reciprocates when I flirt.
Yeah, that's one of my issues. Despite talking up like how nice it is to have all the companions show up in story moments, so it's not just like the two people you go with all the time. I was a bit disappointed by the romance. I went for Belara, right? And it very much felt like, not everything needs to be The Witcher or Cyberpunk where it's like full peen all the time. You don't need that in every game. But it did feel a little bit like high schoolers holding hands.
Yeah.
Oh, can I kiss you? And it did feel a little bit childish
well, I haven't
in
got
some
to the
senses.
point of like actually being able to like make any
ages. It takes
because
ages
I feel like every
there.
time I flirt, I'll be like, oh, well, I'd like to spend time with you. And they're like, okay, anyway. And I'm like, wait, what?
It's not about how well you're flirting or the regularity with which you're flirting. It's literally story gated.
Because you can't always flirt either. Like you have to, there's only certain times where you can like say something flirty. And the amount of times I'm like, now I can flirt doesn't seem right, but all right. And also sometimes like I'll pick an option and it'll be like, oh, well, good luck. And then it'll be like, good luck. And I'm like, wait.
Which voice did you pick?
Just the first woman with the English voice.
Is it the lady from Color Codes or is it just...
Yes, I think
it is.
Maybe, yeah.
I really enjoy her performance.
She's
really
good.
Great, yeah.
She's great. But yeah, I've got quite far into it now.
Oh,
I've
good.
Got all
I'm
the
glad
companions. What am I up to? Oh, I've got to go and like help. There's an archdemon. That's what I'm currently
There's
up to.
There's always a bloody archdemon.
But I've been doing everything. I've been doing all the quests, trying to get all of the chests and the shrines and whatever. I'm really enjoying myself. I think that like it started a bit slow. Like it took me a little while to get into it, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm into it. However, it has made me just want to go play Baldur's Gate again.
Has it?
Because I'm like missing a little bit of the kind of world, really. I think that like when you walk around Baldur's Gate, there's like people are talking and you can just hear quests and like you walk past and there's someone's talking about something and you just happen to have a chat with like a rat on the floor and the rat will be like, oh my God, go over there's a dragon. And you're like, okay, amazing, thanks rat. And then just go and do stuff. So I'm missing a little bit of the kind of
It's definitely a more streamlined
It's more streamlined. And I think actually I'm quite enjoying that because it's like, right, I know these locations now. I know how to get around to Vinter. I know how to get around Docktown.
Fast travel around
everywhere. Like I barely wander around that town anymore at all. But yeah, I think it's great. I think that people have been real harsh on it. Because like, I actually think it's a really good game. And I think it looks great.
Well as well.
Yeah. I think it like visually looks great. Every area's got a distinct art style.
The way that I know people got a bit upset about the cartoonish approach.
I quite like
it.
But like
in cutscenes and dialogue, I think the lighting makes it look really good.
Yeah. And like the combat's quite fun as well. Like the kind of team up attacks and stuff. I'm a bit baffled sometimes by the skill trees and there's a lot of branching paths and stuff, and I was like, I don't know which is the right one to pick.
When I hit max level, you barely touch most of the skill tree. You basically have to pick an endpoint and just work towards it.
Well, I've picked an endpoint now, and just I'm going that way. But yeah, it's very much like there's a lot going on, and I think it's a great game. And I do think that people are harsh on it because it's woke. Grow up, grow up. All right. Like, okay, you can be trans. Grow up. Like, it's such a small part of the story. The only moment where I was like, all right, bit woke, as in like I could see when people would get angry, is when Tasha's mother says to you, she quite prefers women actually over men. I was like, slay, I'm a woman and I will be kissing this big giant woman. And like so far I've just been kind of like, yeah, okay, that's the only part where I've been like, you've given me a bit of information about a character that some would consider woke because she is gay. So yeah, it's interesting. I like that game. I like this game and I'm having a great time. Good. And I feel like if you haven't played it, you should give it a go.
Someone was in my stream on the fence about what to buy, but it was between Dragon Age the Veilguard and I think Outlaws actually. And obviously they're both fantasy RPGs to an extent.
And they're both great games.
They're both great games and they're both like wildly different settings. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I came away from Dragon Age the Veilguard. I always trust the recommendation of a friend of mine who writes for Push Square and reviews all their JRPGs and RPGs when it comes to this stuff. And he said, it's a great game. Don't listen to the... I mean, not that I would ever listen to the anti-woke crowd anyway, but like just don't listen to the general consensus because it seemed across the board it was just sort of taking a bit of a hammering from all sides online.
And I don't quite know why.
And he was like, it's a really good RPG and I liked it a lot and you'll probably like it too. And I did. I really enjoyed it.
I like that like decisions, like little bits of conversation that you make can like later on kind of come back to be mentioned. That's just such small things. Like I said to Harding that I was like, hey, I'm a bit worried about your magical powers you've got. And then later on it was like, Harding really wants to prove to you that like her powers are safe. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, cute. I didn't mean to say that they were bad earlier. The context of the like sentence I was given was a very different energy than how it was delivered. Yeah. But yeah.
I was playing as Barbara.
Oh yeah.
And it's really easy to role play as Barbara.
Were you a barbarian or like a warrior?
Yeah, I was like the warrior, and I just because you can use a sword and shield, or you can use like a two-handed weapon, and I just used the two-handed weapon.
What backstory did you pick?
I was was it Fortune something or other? Oh
yeah, the Lords of Fortune.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so I like went in search of glory and treasure and stuff, and I eventually managed to find because the transmog stuff in that game is really good as well. I managed to I went on a wiki and just looked up all the armor types because I was like, Barbara doesn't wear full plate armor. That's not correct. So I was like, what's the armor where she's basically just wearing barbarian rags essentially? And I managed to find that and then just play through the whole game with like seemingly no protection whatsoever and a giant wooden mallet. And I was like, this is great.
Nice.
But for the dialogue options, it was really easy because I just picked the pissed off one for every single option, apart from when I was talking to my friends. And I felt that was like, I was able to really get into the sort of role playing of the character.
I'm playing my rook real sassy. Like she's like really, she's positive.
Like the comedian option. Yeah. Like, oh, well, looks like we're going to go.
Yeah, whenever like some guys, like the first warden was being rude to me, I was like, and you smell. Just like lol.
Yeah, I got physically violent with him. That was an option that I managed to get. That's the fun thing about these games and this game in particular is that we'll be having wildly different experiences. We'll be experiencing largely the same story, but the combat that you and I will be playing the game with is just totally opposite.
Yeah, I feel the same about when I play Baldur's Gate, where it's like I kind of want to play it again, but pick like a completely different like origin story. And like in my head, my character's like she was a bit quirky, like she kind of just didn't have that many friends growing up, but now like she's made all these friends. Like that's how I'm playing the character, that she's just happy to have friends. But like I could very much play the character like you did, which is just like everyone is annoying me apart from my friends who I
just
like.
Stop talking, let me hit things. Yeah. And that was basically my approach. Yeah, I think it's a great game. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Let me know how you get on with it because there are some big story moments that I'm sure you're doing this anyway, but I've been trained to do this from playing Mass Effect. But every time you go back to the hub area, just open up the map and see if anyone's got a quest.
I've been talking to everyone.
Good, because some of the side quests are really good. And also that, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a similar approach to the final moments of the game as there is in Mass Effect, where how much your friends like you is very important.
I think everyone likes me.
Good.
I'll get a lot of
do all the side missions, do all the personal quests, get everyone on side.
I've been doing everything.
And you'll be
not got
to
tell me twice.
Cool. It's a good game. People should play it. Should give it a go.
Yeah.
I think it's massively reduced now anyway. So jump into it. Is that what you've been playing?
That's all I've been playing.
Well, I've played a few things. I have played some more Silent Hill 2. I'm out of the hospital now, finally.
Huge news.
I'm back into the town and it is horrible. I've been carrying around a garage jack, like a key item, part of a jack lever for about 6 hours now, and I have no idea what it's for. So I did end up Googling it because I was like, I'm pretty sure I picked it up around here when I was first here. And I was able to find where to use it, and it's gone from my inventory. So I'm going to play through the whole game just carrying this lever with me, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Still enjoying it, still very weird. I mean, that's the point. It's like characters react in ways that they should not, like they're seeing something different from you, which they in all likelihood are. Unfortunately, the story is well and truly spoiled for me because of just working in this job for so many years and it being such a prominent horror game. I know what the hook is, and yeah, exactly. But the ride is really fun, and I am having a good time with that still, just sort of chipping away at it like a couple of hours at a time. I played a little bit of RuneScape last night.
Fun.
Just because I was at a bit of a loose end. I'm at a crossroads now because the main thing I played is Metaphor ReFantazio, and I've now finished it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Did enjoy it. It was a bit long in the tooth, as I said last week. I was like, I played so much of this game. Like, I'm ready for it to end now. And I did come to a few realizations. Like, I did like it. The cast of characters, I don't feel like I really enjoyed as much as other Atlas RPGs, potentially. Certainly not some of the Persona games. I found those characters a bit more endearing, maybe. All of these guys, I would say they do a better job of having them stay around in the party for longer and giving you more of an opportunity to get to know them, because it's certainly, like in some of the Persona games specifically, especially like the last character you'll get is around for almost no time at all before sometimes you reach the climax of the game. It's like, I don't really, this person's here, but I don't really know him. And I've definitely had that before. So they definitely do a better job there. I will say that the person you're playing as, the main character, he's a bit of a nothing guy. And I know the defense will be, well, you're meant to, project yourself onto this character through the choices you make, and you level up your key stats like intelligence or whatever by spending time doing things. But certainly, I feel that was done a lot better in other games, because Stroll, who is a member of your party, is like, he's a brilliant character, but he does like all the talking for you. So like when you're facing up against a baddie or standing up in front of like a big mob and defending your actions and stuff, it's not you who says that, it's Stroll who comes out with these long, powerful speeches on your behalf, and you just sort of stand there like a weird little stuffed toy.
You're like, that's my friend, and my friend did a great job, and you're just there like,
it's me, just this strange little figurehead who's there because he's the chosen one. But unlike Persona games, where you're the chosen one because you can access all the different types of magics, to keep it simple, in this game, anyone can have access to the different jobs, or archetypes as they call them. So you're not even that special. It just feels like, I felt like this, I'm playing as sort of an empty vessel that has been thrust into this position. But unlike many other pieces of fiction and media where those sort of fish out of water stories are commonplace and often done quite well, here, I feel like I'm being spoken for a lot of the time. And honestly, if I'd have played as Stroll, I'd have been quite happy with that, because I think all of the characters in the party have really cool designs. But yours, again, you feel kind of just a weird little kid with blue hair. It's I don't know. Just some guy. I really, this is just like a small gripe, because I did really enjoy it. But I did notice that the longer I went on, the less my character felt like he had an active role in what was happening.
It's difficult because like there is that whole thing of like, this is your character. But there's ways of doing that where it's like, well, this is my character and I can play it how I want, and I can make the story whatever I want it to be. However, I still want my character to be somewhat, involved, and like Veilguard, for example, Rook is the main character.
Fully voiced.
Fully voiced. They have you can make the decisions and play them however you want to play them, but you are at least a character with a personality who will speak for themselves and seemingly has their own thought process going on. So it's difficult to... Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's a bit of a shame. The guide that I was following was actually a platinum trophy guide, and it wasn't the best in places. It would say things like, as I think I said on the podcast the other week, finish this dungeon, then you can go home. Okay, the dungeon's 6 hours long. I'm losing my mind. Do I really have to do this whole dungeon today? I'm out of all my items. I'm getting my ass kicked here. But I ended up with all the trophies except for 2 because I hopped onto the guide when I got the full game, and I didn't have the guide when I played the demo.
Right.
So I was a bit behind in terms of stuff that it was telling me that I should have already done. So there was one that I missed, which was to debate all of the other candidates for king, because that's the main story of the game, is trying to get the throne. But
you can't just get that by just doing the beginning.
It's only I would be able to do New Game Plus and just go to those dates, but I still have to play through the dungeons and things like that.
I see.
And then the other trophy, which is only doable in New Game Plus, is to beat a super boss, which is only available in New Game Plus. But the guide says, oh, well, you can do it straight away. But one of the things that doesn't carry over is the level of the friendship with your characters, which is a big deal because it affects what powers they can wield and things. So you're probably just going to want to play through the vast majority of the game again. I was like, absolutely not. I would have gone through it again if I could just hey, it's time. Here's some free time. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to bed and pass the time just so I can fly through it. But the fact that I'm going to have to meticulously follow this guide again to get all of the characters' relationships, I was like, I'm not doing that. So I was done with that.
Maybe in 6 months' time, you'll go back to it and you'll be like, well, it's only 2 trophies.
I'm on 89% of the trophies. It's pretty annoying. But yeah, great game. Really enjoyed it in spite of the foibles I mentioned there. And now I'm at a bit of a loss for what to play. So that's why I jumped into some RuneScape. That's why I also was feeling the Atlas itch and jumped into a game that's been installed on my PS5 for years, which is Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight.
Wow.
Which is the dancing spin-off of Persona 5.
Fun.
They did one for Persona 4 back in the day, and even though it's just a daft rhythm action game and the storyline is literally, a demon is making me dance, what's going on?
We got to boogie our way to victory.
What are we going to do? At least that game had a story.
Yeah.
And brought some of the, brought the original cast back in and checked in on them and what they were doing at that point in their lives. And as a big fan of Persona 4, I was like, well, I've got to play this for the story at least to see what these characters are doing. Started up Persona 5, Dancing in Starlight, immediately hit by a huge wave of nostalgia for the music and the menu design and the characters and the voice acting. And I was like, oh God, I want to play Persona 5, but I'm not going to because it's 80 hours long and I can't do it to myself. But after they speak in the initial intro, it then puts you at the main menu and there isn't actually a story mode.
Right.
There's a bit that's there's just an option on the menu called social rankings, and it lists each of the characters, and they have 1 to 5, and you get to experience these social events, basically just conversations with them, depending on criteria that you've hit. So it'll be successfully complete 3 songs, and then you just choose songs from a menu.
Game?
Yeah,
right.
Then you just choose. So it's not a story mode as such, rather than play enough of this game on your own with no story, and then you can watch a cutscene.
Cool.
And at that point, I was like, I'm not really interested in that. But it was cool seeing some of the songs remixed and things. I did like Persona 4 Dancing All Night. So
yeah,
there we are. But yeah, at a crossroads. I've downloaded a few games on my...
things coming out next month.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Avowed. Well, we'll talk about that more in a minute, but just for you.
Yeah.
Lost Records, Blood and Rage. That's out next month.
Oh, is that out next month?
Don't Nod.
Okay, cool. I want to play those.
Yeah.
I've downloaded Ninja Gaiden Black, or whatever it is.
The
remake. And yeah, there's a new Call of Duty Zombies map. So I'm going to play that this weekend. Huge news for me
Ben Potter
specifically. So there's a few things to go at, but I went straight from Veilguard into Metaphor, and it's just been 2 big games back to back. And now I'm I don't know what to do with myself.
You need a little one to fill the time.
Just went on RuneScape and killed some guards for a bit, and that was it. So that's what I've been playing.
Well, now it's time to find out in more detail what's coming out next month.
2025. We're a month into what could turn out to be a pretty huge year for gaming, with the Switch 2 launching this year and the potential release of GTA 6. Though we're not getting our hopes up too much, we've been burned before. But before we sink hours and hours of our time into those, we've got plenty of other games to fill our time with. So without further ado, here is your February gaming forecast. On February 11th, everyone's favourite gaming grandpa, Sid Meier, is bringing us the next instalment in the turn-based strategy series, Civilization, when Firaxis launches Sid Meier's Civilization 7. With 3 different ages bringing us a total of 26 and counting historic civilizations, covering everything from the Maya to Ming China and even the French Empire. If you're unfamiliar with how Civ games play, essentially you pick your leader and your civilization and oversee the growth of that culture while building cities, creating armies, exploring the map, and working with or defeating other civilizations that may threaten your future. With new mechanics allowing you to mix and match historic leaders with different cultures, evolution through ages, updated graphics, and even more customization to be had, Civ 7 is set to be a great follow-on to the series for established fans, or the perfect place to jump in for new players. Civ 7 launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC, and Switch. Next up, we have Obsidian's new RPG, Avowed. Set in the Living Lands within the world of Eora, the game has you swinging swords, casting spells, and using guns to investigate the Dream Scourge Plague as an envoy of the Adir Empire. Much like Obsidian's previous RPG, The Outer Worlds, the game has a series of NPCs that can join you on your adventure, with up to 2 of them coming with you at any time. Though they have made it clear that these companions are not romanceable, so no kissing the homies in this RPG. Early previews are calling this one an old-school RPG that should fill the gap that Dragon Age the Veilguard and Starfield maybe didn't quite manage for some gamers. Set on the same planet as Obsidian's 2015 RPG Pillars of Eternity, there seems to be lots to look forward to when this game drops on PC, Xbox Series, and on Xbox Game Pass on February 18th. Also launching on the 18th, but with a slightly different vibe, is Don't Nod's brand new narrative adventure, Lost Records, Blood and Rage. To be clear, this is only tape 1 of the story, as tape 2 launches in March. The story follows a group of friends, Autumn, Cat, Swan and Nora, as they reunite for the first time in 27 years, and look back on their time together as teens in the fictional town of Velvet Cove. The main bulk of the game takes place during the summer of 1995, where the group, who also happen to be in a punk band, go on a journey of self-discovery and ultimately encounter an unexplained event that changes their lives forever. Choose what you say and do to discover what happened during that summer when the game launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series and PC. Next up, if you like Yakuza but have always wished that you could have been wearing an eye patch and captain's hat, then Sega have got you covered with Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. The game stars series regular Goro Majima, who's found himself stranded in the islands of Hawaii with no memories and a pirate crew who look to him to lead them to a hidden treasure. Explore 4 different islands, all with their own unique clientele, and engage in melee combat with your cutlasses, ranged combat with your pistols, or sail the high seas and get into battle with other pirate ships. Typical of other Like a Dragon games, there are plenty of minigames sprinkled in to keep you entertained between treasure hunting or goon beating up. Start swashbuckling on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series and Xbox One and PC on February 21st. The last game I want to tell you about is Capcom's newest entry into the Monster Hunter series, in the form of Monster Hunter Wilds, the sequel to the very well-received Monster Hunter World. Set in the Forbidden Lands, a landmass filled with monsters, you'll play as a custom hunter who's been sent out to find a missing expedition. Much like other entries in the series, you'll hunt down, take down and harvest the resources from lots of monsters, to help with ending the life of any other random monster you bump into. The game supports 4-player cooperative multiplayer if you fancy playing with your pals, but if you're more of a solo adventurer, your party can be filled with 3 support hunters run by the computer. With lots of new monsters to hunt, places to explore and palicos to aww at, Monster Hunter Wilds is set to make for lots of fun when it launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series and PC on February 28th. We've also, of course, got the RPG with the longest script ever, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, launching on the 4th, Dating Sim Date Everything, where you can quite literally flirt with everything, launching on Valentine's Day, and the second chunk of the Tomb Raider games, numbers 4 to 6 remastered, also launching on the 14th. So there's plenty to look forward to this month, but for now though, it's time to get back to the podcast.
It's time now for question 2.
Great job, Ashton.
Thank you, Ben. Comes from Beezus. Hello, BAP. Do you think governments or regulatory bodies will ever take action to prevent companies from releasing unfinished and broken games? I bought Starship Troopers Extermination and the game literally doesn't work. And it got me thinking that trading standards probably wouldn't let any other industry sell you a completely broken or malfunctioning product. What do you think should be done about it? For example, fines for publishers, forcing publishers to refund everyone, or maybe even making them label the games early access and sell them at a reduced price. Thanks, B.
Thanks, B.
Thanks, B. I think it's a really interesting question, actually. I think that it's one of those things where there isn't many other industries where you could fully just put something out and it doesn't work. Like, you couldn't put a movie out that's half finished. You couldn't put a TV show out where the green screen's just not green screened out. So I think it's a really interesting thing, because I do think that there's less regulations and less almost, I guess standards is the correct word, but like less forcefulness when it comes to these games have to come out in a place where they work. We've seen before when games don't work how those have been dealt with, like Cyberpunk having to refund everyone on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But they still were allowed to release the game in the state it was for everyone else, with the promise that it will be fixed, even though people had paid 80 quid for it at the time. So I do think it's a difficult one. I think the only way things would change would be if, and it's not really a completely feasible way, if people sued publishers for releasing a product that didn't meet the promises that were made. I think that's a slippery slope as well, because suddenly you've got people just suing people because they didn't like the story of The Last of Us 2, for example. So it's a difficult one, because it's, do you draw the line out, well, this game didn't meet my expectations, and then that's an entirely subjective thing?
Yeah. Or
do you say, well, this game fully doesn't work, therefore it didn't meet my expectations, and that's a fair game thing to argue? I think it would be interesting to see how government bodies could do something about this. Obviously, they're really involved when it comes to like censorship in certain other countries, but it's a difficult one to kind of find the line as well, because how do you justify, well, the game's broken? Would like a few little bugs here and there, or, you know, judderiness on the off, like when it's loading in huge levels, would you class that as being broken? Does that meet the kind of standard of broken? Or is it simply if the game is unplayable, and or if the game is fully lied about in its advertisement, like a No Man's Sky, for example, if you put that game out and were like, these games are the same games as it was in the advertisement, then does that meet the criteria? Obviously, again, these are huge examples, Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky, where there was backlash, but they still got away with it in the end. Admittedly, had to work hard to gain that back, the favour from gamers, but it's an interesting one.
Yes, I think that there are lots of protections in place at the point of sale, certainly for people. And in the UK specifically, we had our Consumer Rights Act overhauled in mid-2019, which meant that if any, I mean, it applied to loads of stuff, but particularly to our interest, obviously, it applied to software in terms of physical and digital sales. If something was not like considered not up to standard, then within 30 days you could get a refund. And you see quite robust refund systems on Steam already. PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo all have them now in the wake of this change in the UK again, at least. And it doesn't, I mean, the refund would then, you know, be passed on in terms of how much it affects a publisher to the publisher, but you would have to get the refund from the entity that sold you the thing. So if you bought Cyberpunk, or if like me, you bought a what's it called, the PlayStation phone, PlayLink. PlayLink games where you use your phone as the controller. I bought one of those a couple of years ago, and they delisted the app from the App Store.
Yeah.
So I literally couldn't play the game on my phone. So I contacted Sony and they refunded it, and they saw that I hadn't played it and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So at the point of sale, I'd say quite a lot has been done to protect people. But in terms of preventing these games from releasing in the first place, as you say, that's a whole different kettle of fish. I suppose really it's because, again, as you said, it's going to be very difficult to legally define what broken or unfinished actually means. What standard are we expecting all games of all genres of all functionalities to adhere to?
Yeah.
And I know that it could well be a case of like that the defense of or the description of pornography in that legal case one time where it's like, I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily, that's going to be very tricky to uphold.
And it's also completely subjective then. If you've got like a bunch of people who are playing a game who are trying to determine whether it's broken or not, and you suddenly got like, 5 of the 10 said it's broken and 5 of the 10 said it's fine. So now what do we do?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very difficult to enforce. It's going to be very difficult to police. And I think if any company were taken to court over the state of a game releasing, apart from, the cases we've seen, like you lied in the advertising, again, as you said, I think it would be very easy for them to defend and like, well, who are you to judge what the quality of a product is?
Yeah.
We're going to work to fix this, or we never said that the people wouldn't phase through the floor. You know, that's actually something
it was never explicitly stated that you would be able to finish the game.
Exactly. But games are not like those like crappy pieces of furniture you see advertised on social media all the time, where it's like it's from a company you've never heard from, and then people buy them, or like battery packs, rechargeable things from like some dodgy Chinese company. You get them and they explode.
Yeah.
Like there's no risk to human life with a video game. So the importance given to probably policing that stuff is far less. At the end of the day, they are games, and we will be disappointed and we will be frustrated and cross that they're releasing in certain states. But from a legal perspective, they don't have to do that. It's a bad look for them, obviously. The only thing you can really do is, vote with your wallet and not buy them, not support them, because a lot of the time these publishers will continue to do it because they know they can get away with it.
Yeah, but obviously that's easier said than done when you don't know it's broken until you get it.
Exactly.
But then it's just a matter of you take it back and you make the publisher give you your money back.
There are plenty of examples, Cyberpunk being one of them, where the pre-release, especially from the press side, the previews were really, really positive. A lot of people were hoodwinked by that game. They didn't know what they were actually going to end up getting. That was one of the biggest lies and cover-ups in video game history. They worked very hard to rebuild trust, but don't forget that they did that.
We'll never forget.
So while it's easy to say, vote with your wallet, it's not always that easy. You genuinely don't know what you're getting sometimes. And it sucks and it shouldn't happen. But I think in terms of preventing it in the first place, there's not an awful lot we can do about it.
No, and I also think there's lots of other things about video games that need regulation as well. Loot boxes and selling things to children. I mean, it's a bit more regulated now, but there's still so many things that slip through the gaps.
Kids are working in the Roblox mines.
Kids are working in the Roblox mines.
And making people loads of money.
Free those children from the Roblox mines. Yeah, it's a difficult one. And I don't really think there's a definite yes or no or how it should work, which is probably why it's not been put in place.
Yeah, there would have to be some sort of internal union or industry within the video game development scene or at a publisher level that would be a quality control thing. But then that would differ by region, that would differ by country, that would differ by different sets of laws. And seeing as they already have internal QA and quality control and stuff like that, and oftentimes I really do not want to put any blame at the foot of production testers or QA testers or anything, because they will be raising these issues up, but they will be overruled and these products will be released anyway. The point being that seeing as they already have that stuff in place as it is and they ignore it, any kind of like government mandate or internal, like, okay, we're all going to do better. We're all going to hold ourselves to a higher standard. They'd find ways to overlook that too.
Yeah.
They'd just not do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry we couldn't answer your question there, B.
Hopefully you got your money back.
Hopefully you got your money back. Yeah,
game. Sorry you had to deal with that.
Do tell them you want your money back.
Yeah.
Please. Do you smell that, Ben?
I mean, Peter's not here because, to be honest, for a while I thought it was him.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just not him. Maybe it's coming.
No, it's not.
It does smell a bit. I think it's a bit stinky peculiar.
It is a bit peculiar, that's for sure. Some might even call it weird news.
Oh.
It's time, everybody, for weird news. If you'd like to submit some weird video game news to us, don't know what happened there, then you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if
Ben bot malfunctioned.
If you would like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to
what
go
are you doing?
My entire body is rebelling. There is a malfunction. You need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and support us at the appropriate tier to become a podcast producer just like
Michael Pendlebury,
Blake Thomas,
Andy Scott,
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
Eric Sue,
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen,
Great Giggity,
GY Goliath,
Gabrielle Philippine,
and Big
Wah.
Money,
Wah.
Bobby,
Wah.
Vegas.
Wah.
I paused there before Andy Scott because I thought there was another one coming, but Peter's not here.
No, he's not. Yeah, he got you there.
He did get me.
Thank you, podcast
pranked.
producers, so much.
I've got some news.
Yes.
It was submitted by @LeLloydsW90.
Lloyd.
I feel like me and Lloyd always submits the news I pick pretty consistently.
He just
knows which
the
ones
news
I like.
which you want.
Yeah, by Ollie Reynolds for Nintendo Life.
Oh,
Random. Xbox gets its own shameful Mario Strikers knockoff.
Oh.
It's really bad.
Okay.
Oh man, where do we
need to buy
start
a
with
copy?
this? Maybe, but I think it's an AI game, so probably not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Xbox has now got its very own Mario Strikers knockoff game with, wait for it, Mario Strikers Soccer League.
What? Say that again?
Mario Stro Strikers Soccer League.
Maestro, like
Mario Stro.
like Maestro,
Like
but
Maestro, but
Mario's-
Mario.
But they've kept Mario in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, not at all copied from Mario Strikers Battle League. No, Your Honor, purely a coincidence.
Yeah.
Released on the 10th of January 2025 by Light Games, 2 S's, and the extra S is intentional. Mario Strikers is perhaps one of the most shameful knockoffs we've ever seen. Let's look at the key art above to
Let's
start.
look at the key art above.
It's purely AI generated, and it's one of those games that simply gets funnier the more you look at it. Observe the controllers in the foreground, the dodgy iPad on the pitch, the multiple footballs, and the facial expressions. Oh God, the facial expressions. They're just so bad. Look at that guy. He's really struggling.
Yeah, there's
no
footballs.
face. Yeah, loads of footballs, an iPad. He's got a different controller than this guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, awful.
Wow.
Terrible. Now let's look at the official description as seen on the Xbox storefront. This is a killer, folks. Dive into the thrilling world of arcade-style soccer with your game name here. Experience the excitement of 4v4 matches where every player counts. With 10 unique and fun teams to choose from, you'll dribble past and shoot your way to victory while defending your goal with a skilled goalkeeper. No, your eyes do not deceive you. The developers actually forgot to insert the name of the game into their own likely AI-generated description.
Brilliant.
And of course, while we can't really draw any conclusive opinions on the actual quality of the game, based on a few screenshots, let's just say they don't exactly fill us with confidence. It looks incredibly generic, and we'd be willing to bet the team logos were also generated by AI. Note how Skybreakers sound suspiciously like Skylanders, for instance.
Oh yeah, it looks nothing like the key art.
No, and it looks awful.
Wow, it does look bad.
Look at those bad boys.
It looks like a Wii game.
Yeah, it does look like a Wii game.
Oh God, the
Yeah.
haircuts are bad.
They've all got like kind of afros, apart from one guy who's bald.
Wow,
Really
that is
awful.
disturbing.
Yeah. So yeah, Mario Strikers.
Available now. Get
Mario
it.
Strikers Soccer League.
Get it before it's delisted.
Yeah, and it will be
I'm
soon, I
still
reckon.
sad we didn't get War God Son of Zeus
Yeah.
when that was available. We
It
did get
was-
the Last Dead End?
Last Hope.
Oh,
Dead
Last Hope.
Something.
Yeah.
Dead on Arrival.
We got that one.
I still think about that game sometimes. If there's ever a lockpick mechanic in a game,
God.
I think about how
That
we
bit
were
with the zombies.
where we were being chased by a horde, trying to unlock the lockpick, but you wouldn't die until you failed the lockpick.
Yeah.
So you do it, and it'd be like, you did it, and then you just die
Immediate
immediately
game
because you were
over
getting
screen.
hit by like 1,000 zombies at the same time.
Awful. We finished it though.
We finished
set
it.
a speed
It
run
was like
record. as
2
well.
hours long.
Well, I say we set a record. We charted.
Yeah.
We hit the leaderboards because we did finish the game.
Yeah. One of like 10 people who finished the game.
Incredible. Look at us.
That
go.
was a real stinker.
Oh, I got my two. Well, Dick got one, and I got the other one. Speed run. What am I trying to say? Our speed run times were submitted, and they were finally approved this past week. So, Richard Marchenko is now the #1 PS3 speedrunner for Rogue Warrior. But he's like the number 5 or 6 on all platforms. And similarly, I am the #1 PS3 speedrunner for Ride to Hell Retribution.
Cool.
And quite significantly lower down the list for everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those went in. We have so many records here. We've done so many
record
speedruns.
holders.
I've got some weird news. It was submitted by Pablo Arias Zuniga and Steven Skodes at sskodes8 on Twitter.
Pablo's got a cool name.
Yes, Pablo's actually given us some additional
Information.
yes. What is happening? Am I
You're right.
what's going on? I feel like I'm just shutting down.
Do you
I don't-
sweet? Is your blood sugar low?
Possibly. I had my pale breakfast today, so I probably should eat something. Pablo says, this one is from my country. Greetings from Costa Rica.
Greetings.
The writer misses a little context here. Super is a blanket term for supermarket, but also mid-sized grocery stores over here. Hence, Super Mario. It's another Mario story.
Yep.
This comes from
Nintendo are
Eurogamer.
catching strays everywhere this week.
They have finally been defeated, and we're so excited to see it.
David has beat Goliath.
This
Right.
is from Eurogamer and Tom Phillips. Yeah,
Is it
that's
David
right.
and Goliath?
Yeah, David and Goliath. Yeah, that's right. Goliath has finally overcome human-sized David. Nintendo loses trademark fight against Super Mario Supermarket. Meh, meh.
R.I.P. all the Mario's pizzas that got
I know.
crushed.
Mario's a real name.
Bring back the Mario
You probably
image
can't be Super
on
Mario
all of the
pizza, though.
pizza shops.
The subject line, which I will read, is store subject. Oh.
Banger.
Wah. Thanks, Tom. A Costa Rican supermarket has claimed victory against Nintendo in a trademark battle over its name, Super Mario. The Super Mario shop in San Ramon is allegedly named as such because it is a supermarket run by a local man named Don Jose Mario Alfaro Gonzalez.
It's his name.
Or Mario for short.
That's his name.
And as we heard from Pablo, super is just a term for
yeah.
supermarket in Costa Rica. But despite trading under the Super Mario name for decades, Nintendo recently took an interest when Mario's son attempted to renew the shop's registered trademark. In a post on the shop's Facebook page, which Carlos Charlito Alfaro maintains alongside in his dad's married. Oh my God, help!
You got it. You
Help
got
me,
it.
what's going
you got
on?
It. You got it. You got it.
The big discussion has. I've got so much to read in
know.
a minute. I need.
Lol.
What's going on with my brain?
Lol.
Let me just.
Come on, you've got to be the strong one here.
I can do it. My eyes are refocusing now. They were going crossed for a second there. Anyway, let's just skip that. So Alfaro says he first registered Super Mario Shop as a brand shortly after graduating from university in 2013. Same, except I didn't register any trademarks. Last year, it was time to renew the registration, Alfaro stated, which prompted Nintendo to get involved. Thank you enormously to my legal advisor and accountant, Jose Edgardo Jimenez Blanco.
Slay.
Everyone's got 4 names, and I love it.
Fantastic.
Who took care of the registration and subsequent fight for the right to a trademark, Alfaro wrote. For a moment, we thought about throwing in the towel. How are we going to win the fight against such a commercial monster? More with the amount of legal documents submitted by them to ensure the victory. Well, by that, Edgardo and I stood firm, and a few days ago we've received the good news, he continued. Super Mario is here to stay.
Get in. Nintendo, you have a character called Mario. Mario is people's actual name.
Yeah.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just claim Mario forever.
It's not like Khaleesi. It's not a made-up name.
Yeah.
While Nintendo has trademarked the use of Super Mario worldwide under numerous categories, including video games, clothing, and toys, it appears the company did not specifically state anything about the names of supermarkets.
Nice. That'll be next, though, won't it?
They'll come. They're not done.
Everything has to be pizza shop. No pizza shop.
Revenge of the Sith. Here they come. This, Alfaro says, was the key factor in the decision by Costa Rica's trademark authority, the National Register, to side with the supermarket. Apart from the Super Mario name, the shop's logo is otherwise devoid of reference to Nintendo. It's a simple yellow and dark blue design with the wording Super Mario.
I'm happy for Mario.
And then underneath it says Su lugar de confianza, which translates to Super Mario, your trusted place.
Ah, I'm so happy for Mario and fam.
Further, you're going to enjoy them even more now because they get even cuter now.
Yay!
Further celebrating Super Mario's victory, Charlito posted a video showing his dad Mario in the background. That man you see there, he is Don Mario. He is my dad, and he has 52 years of being here, and he is Super Mario. Nintendo go, right, they said it. They said he's Super Mario.
Get him!
Get him!
Get him!
Alfaro said. Well, now we are trending. Everyone is talking about us for the resolution by the National Register that gave the decision in our favour for the brand Super Mario, which, by the way, here you can ask the cashiers for a sticker.
Oh!
Get them! Get them! They're giving out stickers with Super Mario on
That's
it.
merch. That's merch.
They're selling T-shirts,
Get
technically.
his ass.
So yeah, that's Don Mario there.
Oh, I love Don Mario.
So yeah, great. Go support Super Mario next time you're in Costa Rica.
I love it. That's so nice.
Good story.
I'm happy for Mario. They really did slay the dragon.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's nice to see, we enjoy Nintendo's games.
Yeah.
But we don't enjoy Nintendo. We don't.
Oh my God.
I'm hitting the microphone. I'm knocking Billy over. We don't enjoy Nintendo's legal pursuits.
No.
They're not very nice in that regard. So
What
it's
I
nice
really
to see
like
them lose this one.
It's kind of, I like the idea that you walk into Nintendo headquarters and it's like all bright and colourful. And then they're like, what's behind this? Or like, you can't go in that door.
Yeah.
And you just look through the window and this is a bunch of men in like black suits with sunglasses on, typing away, just suing people forever.
That's it.
Yeah.
Get him! Get him! They said Mario.
He said he's Super Mario.
A woman just had a baby and named it Mario.
Get him!
That's ours now.
The baby owns.
Bring the baby.
Nintendo owns that baby.
That's how they do it. All those men in black suits with sunglasses on, all called
They're
Mario.
all Mario.
They were all abducted from hospitals when they were born because Nintendo was like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You are legally ours now.
You're ours. You are our Super Marios.
You are the Mario hunters.
You must find another Mario to replace you.
Get him.
Get him.
Well, that's my weird news.
That was lovely.
It's time now, though, for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes from Jeff the Molly Goose with absolutely no prompting whatsoever.
Yeah.
Hey, totally unprovoked, random off the top of my head question, totally not prompted from a Discord post by Ben.
Don't even know why you'd even mention that.
What the is going on with Hermen Hulst at PlayStation? Thank you, Molly.
He's on his holidays.
What's that?
He's just going on a holiday forever.
Hermen. Yeah, he's riding off on the ship from Lord of the Rings to go spend his life with the elves. No. This is probably one of the bigger breaking stories of this week, and I thought it was worth discussing. So I popped into the Discord and said, hey, do you want to go on the Patreon post and ask, and we'll talk about it. So this is a write-up from VGC written by Chris Scully. And Hideaki, now, going into this, I need you to all prepare for the amount of times I'm about to say CEO and the fact that PlayStation seemingly has about 35 different CEOs.
It's all very confusing. I was reading an article earlier and I was like, I don't understand.
We'll try and unpick it together. Hideaki Nishino has been named the new president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, ending the current co-CEO structure that has been in place for the past 8 months. Last year, it was announced that Nishino and Hermen Hulst would replace Jim Ryan as joint CEOs, with Nishino appointed CEO of SIE's Platform Business Group and Hulst, who was previously head of PlayStation Studios and Guerrilla Games, becoming CEO of its Studio Business Group. Now, Sony has announced that, as of April the 1st, Nishino will become president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment as a whole, as well as his continued role as CEO of the Platform Business Group. Hulst will continue to serve as CEO of the Studio Business Group, but will now report to Nishino. Sony Group President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki, who has been serving as chairman of SIE with Nishino and Hulst reporting to him, will now step down from the role to become president and CEO of Sony Group, allowing Nishino to lead SIE. You got that?
No.
Got a quote for you now. "I'm truly honored to take the helm at Sony Interactive Entertainment," Nishino said in a statement. "Technology and creativity are two of our biggest strengths as we continue to focus on developing experiences that deliver entertainment for everyone. We will continue to grow the PlayStation community in new ways, such as IP expansion, while also delivering the best in technology innovation. I want to thank Hermen for his expertise and leadership as he continues his role as CEO. But not this CEO. Studio Business Group. I am deeply grateful for the PlayStation community and their continued support, and I am very excited for what the future holds." According to Sony, in his continuing role as CEO of Studio Business Group, Hulst will continue to lead the development, publishing, and business operations of SIE's first-party games, and is responsible for developing games across many devices, including PlayStation consoles and PCs, and bringing video game IP to new mediums through PlayStation Productions.
The confusion comes exclusively because he's not stepping down as CEO. They are just restructuring how they work.
Yes.
There is now one CEO who's in charge of Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yeah.
And under him are people who still get to be called CEO, but technically have a boss.
So from what I
normally
understand,
how it works.
Jim Ryan was CEO of SIE.
He ran everything.
He owns PlayStation and Atari.
Yeah.
So Jim Ryan was running all of that.
Yeah.
He left. Hiroki Totoki stepped in.
Yeah.
Underneath Hiroki Totoki, they did the
They separated out Sony what was it?
It was
Studios something or other. Sony Game Studios.
There's Platform Business Group
what's Hermen
and
Hulst?
Studio Business Group.
So they separated it out, and he was in charge of Sony Interactive Entertainment, but Hermen was in charge specifically of the studios.
Yes.
That's now still how it is. However, now it's just the Sony Interactive Entertainment now covers all of the other elements.
Hiroki Totoki has moved up the ladder. Nishino has technically moved up the ladder in that he's
now level with Hermen Hulst.
He's above Hermen Hulst.
What?
So, right. So, hear me out.
So, Hermen reports to...
So, there's Totoki.
Totoki.
And then below Totoki, there was Nishino and Hulst. Now Totoki has moved up. Nishino has moved up. Now Totoki has moved up. Nishino has moved up to where Totoki was. Hulst has stayed in the same position. So, he's no longer co-CEO, but he is still a CEO.
But I thought it was that Hermen Hulst and Hiroshi Totoki were on the same level.
No.
And now he's moved up, and now the other guy whose name I've forgotten, Nishino and Hermen Hulst are now two arms underneath Hiroshi Totoki.
That was how it was.
I want a pen. I need a pen.
So right. We have to... What I'm about to say sounds silly, but it's all very simple. Totoki replaced Ryan.
Right.
To assist Totoki, Hulst and Nishino were made co-CEOs beneath Totoki.
Hulst and Totoki.
Well, Totoki was
wrong,
brought in as a temporary placeholder for Ryan. We did talk about him quite a lot. And now Totoki's moving up to replace someone else. He's moved way up the corporate ladder to the top of Sony, full stop. And now running SIE is Nishino, and Hulst will presumably be dropping some of the shared managerial CEO stuff that he shared with Nishino, and Nishino will be doing that exclusively. And Hulst will still be CEO of the group that he was before, but he'll be more focused on running the studios rather than having to share responsibility for more stuff.
Yeah.
That's the basic gist.
It's all business nonsense.
It is.
It's not going to make any difference.
But taken at face value, we talked about this on the news yesterday, James and I, or on Wednesday, sorry. Taken at face value, people will see this as Hermen Hulst is getting a demotion. He did Concord. Haha, you did Concord. You deserve this because you did Concord.
Yeah.
But that's... As you say, that's not what this is.
Happened.
It sounds like it's just a shuffling around. It could well be that the co-CEO structure didn't work.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, with his skill set, I imagine Hermen Hulst is better suited in the position he is now, which is just running first-party studios.
What probably happened was that nobody could understand who they had to go to about things, because we can't understand who they had to go to.
Or is this a Nishino thing?
Or am I going to speak to Hermen Hulst? Whoever got to speak to about this. And it sounds like it was very much like, look, it's too confusing. Let's just... send Totoki to the moon. Yeah. And then
Nishino.
I cannot remember his name. It's not going in.
Hideaki Nishino.
Nishino. yes, Hideaki. That I remember for some reason.
Yes.
Is now more important in the sense of he's managing the actual logistical side of things, whereas they're letting Hermen Hulst draw his little ponies.
Go hunt your robot dinosaurs.
Make games.
Make Horizon everything.
Yes. I think that I think it's a good thing. I think that I don't think Hermen Hulst has had much of an opportunity to prove himself in terms of the CEO of
It's only been
the studios.
6 months.
It's been 6 months, and he didn't do Concord himself.
He was a big fan of Concord.
He was an advocate for it, but he wasn't. He's not Hermen Concord. Do you know what I mean? So,
Concord Hulst.
Concord Hulst. I think that we're going to have to see what they do. We've said before, it seems a bit skew if at the studios right now. There's news about Bend and Bluepoint. The reason those games got cancelled was because they don't want to do live service games anymore.
Yeah.
Huge news for us. Massive news for fans of games where you don't have to talk to anyone. I think that we'll see maybe a shift in what games are coming out from studios. They do need to be more focused, I think, on the studios and helping them create stuff. We've seen a lot of games get cancelled and binned and so on. So I think maybe this is a good thing to just give him more things to focus on. But I don't think this is any comment on him and his role in Sony. Like you said, it's been 6 months. So it's just a shift around, and it's not actually that deep, but everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you know one thing about me is that I love the maneuverings of Japanese businesses and Japanese businessmen.
You
as
should
well.
have seen him yesterday. He was so excited.
Huge fan of it. So Totoki, if I remember rightly, and obviously I do because I'm a huge fan of Japanese businessmen, had no real prior interest or experience with video games. He was seen as a steady hand to come in and just hold the tiller.
Yeah. Do the business.
While Jim Ryan was leaving and while there was a transitory period.
Yeah.
Now, seemingly, they have decided what they want to do, which is for Totoki to move on to bigger things, probably things, again, more suited to his skill set. I believe he was more of a budget specialist anyway, a real businessman.
He's a businessman.
And I believe Nishino and Hulst both have a background in games and PlayStation. Might be talking out my arse here, but I'm not because I'm a big fan of Japanese businessmen. But I think Hideaki Nishino may have worked more on the technology side of PlayStation,
I think so.
and has moved up the ladder at a similar pace and with a similar career trajectory to Hulst. So seemingly he was deemed a better fit to run SIE, and Hermen Hulst, with his background, makes total perfect sense to me to keep him in a CEO role, which again, the wording is very confusing, but to keep him in a role where he is overlooking and taking care of the studios and running that side of things. We've ragged on him a lot because he is a very powerful person within PlayStation, and he seemingly was quite key and pivotal in this live service push. But I think we all know that the live service push came from above him.
Yeah.
And while we can point and go, you did Concord, you're getting demoted. A, doesn't sound like he's getting demoted.
No.
And
he still
B,
makes loads of money.
the decision to do Concord in the first place was not really his.
Yeah.
So with them changing tack and moving away from live service, I think he is best positioned in the place that he is right now to really return things to form. Remember what this guy's background is, the games that he's been involved in, the games that he's responsible for. He's no multiplayer live service veteran. They haven't brought in, the head of Bungie and put him in that position right, live service, everything, go.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. So hopefully it's an achingly, staggeringly slow process, but we will start to see a return to the kind of things that we certainly want from PlayStation.
We've seen a shift already away from what Jim Ryan had been talking about in the year before he left. We talked just as the kind of transition happened about we're not going to see this take effect for a little while, but it already seems like there has been a shift in PlayStation's plans when it comes to live service games. We were hopeful this would happen. Obviously, it's not nice because, people are going to lose their jobs. A live service game is a moneymaker if it's done well and received well. But I think hopefully it'll be good to see, again, what happens with this. I don't think it's a bad thing to do it like this. We love a conglomerate. Love it. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Hermen Hulst. I still have faith in him. He was at the Gorilla when they made 2 of my favourite games. So he's got my vote.
Yeah.
I approve this
Thumbs
message.
up. So Nishino was vice president of Sony Computer Entertainment between 2013 and 2016 and senior vice president global product strategy and management from 2016 to, well, it says present, but until his most recent role. So he's been involved with PlayStation for a long time. Hopefully he actually knows about and enjoys games more than Jim Ryan did. But I think, nothing disastrous has happened while these two have been co-CEOs. So I hope that their working relationship will be a good and positive one. But I think it's also fair to say that they've actually just had to deal with the fallout of a lot of bad decisions that came before their tenure.
I don't think it's unusual for a transition from one CEO to another CEO to be a bit chaotic for a company and for there to be a fallout that trickles down to various people. I think it's just Sony is a massive company and has a huge audience of people that want their games. So we were going to see this kind of chaos probably ensue after Jim Ryan left. It's not that unusual, so I think it's fine. Hopefully they figured themselves out now and they'll have a more positive 12 months.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Bottom line is that this isn't perhaps as bad as it seems on the surface.
Yeah.
And hopefully things start to improve soon for the studios, really, because God knows they've had a battering recently with all the cancelled projects and stuff. So he's got an uphill battle as Hermen Hulst, but hopefully he can pull it off. Well, thus concludes everything that we are supposed to be talking about this week. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We really appreciate you. There's a few places around the internet that you can find us. Ashton, would you like to read the first 3?
Oh boy, would I. YouTube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for all of our video and live stream content. Usually we live stream on Twitch, but this week we live streamed on YouTube and probably next week as well.
Yes.
So check it out there. It'll be on the VODs channel if you have missed it. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch sub with it, which you can spend on us for no extra cost and get all of the benefits for. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, on all of which we are Team TripleJump. Make sure you're following us there for the latest updates from us.
Patreon.com/Team TripleJump if you want to go and get some sick and cool rewards and also support us as well. Cool. We would really appreciate that. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. We love you. TripleJump is our website. There you can find links to everything that we do. Every single thing. If you want to go check out our video game and wish list it on Steam, because hopefully that'll be coming soon, TripleJump/video game. And why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. Just enough time for this week's sponsor again, please, Ashton.
Porks must fry. Flesh wrap.
Don't like it.
Is it a wrap made of flesh or a wrap containing flesh? You tell me what you think.
Are we not all flesh wraps then if it's
Sort of, yeah, I guess maybe skin and flesh. Yeah, well, I guess we are flesh wraps.
We're just with the skeleton being the filling.
Yeah.
Delicious flesh wrap.
Delicious.
Great. Well, we'll leave you with that and you can tell us what
You're
you
welcome.
think of it in the comments below. I dare you. Right, we'll see you next time. Look after yourselves, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.